Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to show you one of my favorite books about card magic. It's the Card Classics of Ken Krenzel. Let's get right to it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, I'm gbabbits. I'm a card magician, and today I want to show you one of my absolute favorite books about card magic. This is the Card Classics of Ken Krenzel. It's written by Lorayne. It was put out in 1978, but don't let the date fool you. This book is packed with awesome material. Dust jacket, we'll toss it. Look at this. It's sturdy, it's a great blue. Not that matters if there's a dust jacket, of course. Printing across the side, face, nothing special, it's a book, right? This was published by L&L Publishing. L&L was bought out by Murphy's Magic a few years back. Word on the street is they might be reprinting some of their classics, so if you like this book after this review, keep an eye out for this. It's gonna be well worth it. So all in all, this book is about 250 pages long. It is packed with material. It's broken down into 9 sections. Each section has a ton of tricks in it. Tricks, sleights, you name it. Almost every routine and sleight has illustrations to go along with it, and they do actually help out. But I actually want to talk about some of the negatives first. When I first got this book years ago, I was just starting into card magic. I wanted to find something advanced because, I know how to do double lifts was my thought. I know these things. So I want something more advanced, something challenging. This is one of the first books that came up in my search, and I was lucky enough to find it, and I got it. But I was a little disappointed when I opened it, and the very first section starts off about how to do a double lift. The next thing was how to do multiple lifts, and then more multiple lifts, and a couple spectator peek tricks. I was slightly derailed. I thought my journey into card magic was going to be slow because here's this advanced book and it's teaching me things that I already know. Don't let that fool you though. Oh boy, I was way wrong there. So another thing that Ken Krenzel relied on a lot, and you'll find it in this book and a lot of the tricks, is a pressure fan. I'm not great at doing a pressure fan. I've tried. It's been years. Nope, not working. Thumb fans work pretty well though, and I've tried some of the tricks that rely on the pressure fan and they work just as fine with the thumb fan. Another big thing, and Lorayne says this a lot, but apparently Ken Krenzel had large hands. Some of these tricks are much easier to do if you have large hands. I thought I had large hands, but these tricks are not easy to do. How big do your hands have to be large? Speaking of, there's also one trick in here that is absolutely impossible to do. I just can't do it. It's called cut propulsion. It's similar to a hot shot cut, except harder. And apparently, yes, you need large hands to do it. One thing that initially bugged me about the book is that a lot of the tricks, and I mean the majority of tricks in this book, are Ken's handling of other existing tricks. What does that mean? It means he takes another trick that already exists or someone else does. Ken just presents his take on it, which is cool. At first I was like, wait, I'm just getting a book that's someone else's stuff, but it's not. It's actually the heart of magic. You find a sleight that you really like and you adapt it to your own handling. You find a routine. You don't just change the pattern, you change the presentation. Maybe you change the way you get into the trick or how you handle certain parts of it. Either way, Ken does that a lot, and it really led into a really good eye-opening experience for me where I approach magic and say, hey, I'm not just learning your trick, I'm learning a variation of this trick and I can adapt it to fit my own style. And I really like that. Now I mentioned, I bought this looking for an advanced book. I bought this at the beginning of my card magic journey. That was both a mistake and a blessing. I read through it years ago, cover to cover, and it was hard. I couldn't do anything in this book. I learned about the Pharaoh Shuffle from this book, and I said to myself, I'm never gonna need to use that. Now I Pharaoh is a fidget move. It's unbelievable. I reread this book this past month for the first time in years, and wow, I understand everything so much better now. I can actually do some of the tricks in this book, and there are other tricks that are still outside of my reach. There are tricks I'm not interested in, of course, that always happens. However, there is so much awesome material in here that it's just unbelievable. And that's one of the big pros about this book. There is so much content. Like I said, there's over 250 pages in here, 9 sections. Each section has about 10 tricks or sleights. But on top of that, Lorayne presents alternative handlings and different routines you can do with different sleights. So there is so much in here. You know what's not in this book that I actually love? It's jam-packed with content and very little patter, very little theory. This book is just the sleights and the tricks. Now it kind of ties into how I mentioned this book has a lot of material that is Ken's handling or Ken's take on other magicians' tricks. Without the inclusion of a lot of patter or theory, this book is a reference for us. Yes, it outlines a lot of tricks and how to do them, but if you take kind of the behind the scenes meaning to it, at least how I interpret it, it's here is a guide. Do with these as you want. So I read these and I really do love some of the tricks in here. Others, I'm like, hey, I could come up with my own variation of that. And I really think that's what the heart of magic's about, right? It's building on one another. It's enjoying, experiencing, loving magic and being able to bring that joy to others. This book, it's not just, sitting down at a card table kind of magic. It includes stuff for walking around, table hopping performances. There are some things that are better suited for at the table. But there's actually alternative handlings for at the table versus standing, which is really great. Now, I know this was out in 1978, so a bit before its time, but there are actually a few routines in here that are really good for visual performances. They could be for remote performances, social media, what have you. They're great for in-person or virtual. It's really cool. Now, I do have some routines and sleights in this book that are already some of my favorites. They're in my repertoire as I speak. I'm practicing them nonstop. And there are some tricks in here that I'm never gonna practice again. Like, I'm cool with that. That's true for a lot of magic books. You find things you like and you find things you don't. The reason why this is one of my favorites is because it's blunt. It goes straight to the point. It gives you so much material. It gives you so many references, which is fantastic. There's stuff in here to keep me busy forever. And I think I'll be able to entertain many crowds just with this material alone. And I'll be able to come up with my own handlings of things because of this material. I highly recommend this book. If you don't already have it, look for a copy. You will not regret it. This is the Card Classics of Ken Krenzel by Lorayne. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you keep up with all the other cool stuff that's coming out. As always, I'm gbabbits and I'll see you next time.